Hello students, I am Hombini and today we will be taking English for class 3 and we will be taking chapter 6, English chapter 6, that is In the Dark Night. This is a poem and today we will be reading about the night, okay? I hope we all know what a night is, right? We all have seen, what do we do, we all have seen at night, the night, right? What do we do at night? We usually sleep, right? So today's poem will be all about the dark night, okay? Now in this poem, we will be learning. After reading this poem, we will learn to identify different sounds that are heard at night. We will also be able to describe the things that we see at night, okay? And then we will also read the rhyming words properly. After reading this poem, we will also be able to understand and know what a rhyming word is. The Dark Night. This is a poem and it is written by Walter de la Mare. This is the person who wrote this poem, okay? Before we go into the poem, I hope you all when you sleep at night, you all hear some noises, right? Especially when you sleep outside, in the villages or somewhere that is away from the busy towns and all. When you sleep at night, you hear the sound of the birds chirping, small birds. You also hear the these fireflies flying around, the sound. You also hear the cricket, right? The sound of the cricket, right? So this is a poem about what are the things and what are the sounds we hear in the dark night, okay? All right, before we go into the explanation, shall we all read the poem starting from the first together? The first line, someone came knocking at my wee small door. Someone came knocking. I'm sure. I listened. I opened. I looked to left and right, but no, there was a stirring in the still dark night. Only the busy beetle tapping in the wall. Only from the forest the screech owl's call. Only the cricket whistling while the dew drops fall. So I know not who came knocking at all. This is a poem, and this is a poem about a person who heard the knocking of a door and went to open the door. But the person found that there is no one outside, but he can see the dark night, and he can see the flies flying around, and he can see the cricket, the sound of the cricket, and the streams. He can see the stars, the moons, the dark, but he did not find anyone who was knocking the door. And that is why he said that, I'm sure there was someone who was knocking at the door, but I do not know who that person was. We will go into the explanation line by line. The first line of the poem, someone came knocking at my wee small door. Wee means very small. That means someone came knocking. Knocking means we knock at the door, right? When we go to our neighbor's place, we first knock before entering, right? So someone came knocking at my wee small door. That means at my small door. That means the person had a very small door and someone came knocking. The second line, someone came knocking. I'm sure. I listened. I opened. That means the person was very sure. See, he said, I'm sure. He said sure 3 times, right? That means he surely heard that there was someone knocking at the door. So the person listened. He listened to he listened whether the door was knocking or not, and he heard that it was knocking. Someone was knocking at the door. And so the person went and opened the door. I listened, I opened. That means he listened to the sound and then he went to open the door. Now the next line, I looked to left and right, but no, there was a stirring in the still dark night. That means when the person went to open the door, as he heard the knocking or the sound of knocking, he went, but he saw no one. Not means nothing. And he went and he looked around. He looked to the left, he looked to the right, but there was no one. There was nothing. Nothing there was stirring. That means nothing outside, nothing in front of the door was moving. That means everything was in its place. There was no movement. See, not means nothing. And stirring means moving. So, but nothing there was a moving. That means there was nothing outside that was moving when the person went and opened the door in the still dark night. That means it was dark, and so it was dark already, and the person can see it was dark, but there was no movement. Now the person is wondering who came and knocked at the door. Let's try to find out. Only the busy beetle tapping in the wall. Only from the forest the screech owl's call. Beetle, I hope we all have seen a beetle, right? Sometimes they come flying to our rooftop. This is a picture of a beetle, okay? It is an insect. A beetle is a type of insects. This is also an insect, okay? So the person can see the busy beetle. That means this beetle, they were flying around. They were very busy in the night, in the dark, okay? He can see the busy beetle tapping on the wall. That means the beetle, they are coming and tapping on the wall. They are flying, they are landing on the wall. Again, they will fly and land on the other side of the wall. So the person can see that, okay? Only from the forest the screech will sound. But from the forest, the person can hear the sound of an owl screech. This is this is sharp sound. SCREECH. Screech, that means sharp sound. So the person can hear the owl's call at night. Owl's call, that means owl's sound, okay? It can hear it in the night. But there was no one who came and knocked at the door. He can hear all the sound. He can see the beetle busy, but there was no one. He cannot find out who came knocking at the door. Now next line, only the cricket whistling while the dewdrops fall. So I know not who came knocking at all. Cricket, this is a picture of a cricket. It is like a grasshopper, right? We all have seen what a cricket looks like, right? We see this in the field also, in the jungle also. Sometimes we see at our home garden also, right? So the person who went and opened the door can also see this cricket whistling. That means making a sound, making a whistle sound, the sound of a cricket. Okay. The person can hear this cricket whistling in the night while the dewdrops fall. That means the dewdrops, droplets of water, right? Dewdrops are small drops of water seen in the morning. Early morning, when you wake up, you see a small droplets of water on the leaves, right? That are called dewdrops, okay? So the person can also see the dewdrops fall. The dewdrops are already falling. He can also see that. So I know not who came knocking. That means he can see all this happening outside at night, the cricket whistling, the dewdrops fall, but he did not know who came knocking. The person do not know, though the person heard the sound of the door knocking, he still don't know who came knocking at all, at all, at all. That means I do not know at all who that person who came and knocked at my door at night. So the person, he was sure that someone surely came and knocked, but he is now convinced that there was no one outside when it went to check who it was. Okay, so this is the poem. Now we will, after I hope you all have understood what the poem is all about. This poem is about a person who, while he was sleeping at night, heard the knocking of a door, and so he listened properly, and the person was sure that there was someone knocking, so he went and opened the door. But he found out that there was no one, but he can see the beetle tapping on the wall. He can see the owls, the sound of the owl. He can also hear the cricket whistling, and he can see the dewdrops falling. But the only thing he did not see was, he did not make out was the person, the one who came and knocked at the door, who that person was. So he did not know who came knocking, but he can see all the happenings, all this that happened during the night time. Okay, now we will learn some new words from the poem. Okay, the first one is wee, W-E-E, wee. That means very small. Wee means very small. Okay, now steering, S-T-I-R-R-I-N-G, steering. That means moving. Now beetle, B-E-E-T-L-E, beetle. Beetle is, I've told you, a type of insects, right? Beetle is an insect, okay? Now screech, that means a sharp sound. S-C-R-E-E-C-H, that is screech, the sound that an owl make. Now next is cricket. It is an insect that makes a sharp sound at night. C-R-I-C-K-E-T, cricket. Now dewdrops. Dewdrops, I've told you, they are small drops of water seen in the morning. D-E-W-D-R-O-P-S, dewdrops. They are small droplets of water, okay, dewdrops. Now tapping means knocking lightly. Tap, T-A-P, tap, T-A-P-P-I-N-G. That means knocking lightly. Okay, now students, I want to ask you, when you sleep at night, when you sleep during the night, what sound do you hear? We hear different kinds of sound, right? Especially when we sleep in a secluded area where there are a lot of jungles, where there are at the side of the city, right? The side of the town. When you sleep during the night, you hear noises, right? We hear the sound of a cricket. The cricket is the kind of a grasshopper that I've shown you. We hear the sound of a cricket. We also hear the sound of the wind blowing, right? We hear the wind blowing at night, from blowing around from one corner to another, right? We hear the soft wind blowing. We also hear the trees rumbling. When the wind blows, of course, the leaves of the trees will also shake, right? So that is called rumbling, okay? The trees rumbling. We also hear the trees rumbling and all. There are many sounds that we hear during the night, right? So, students, I want you to think properly and to make some note on what are the things that you hear when you sleep, okay? Or when at night time, even if you don't sleep, when you stay awake at night, sometimes you hear the noise of different creatures, right? So I want you to make all this, to make a note of all those, okay? Now, here are some list of insects names that I've given. Shall we all read one by one? The first is bee. B double E, bee. We all know what a bee does, right? They make honey, they give us honey, right? Now ant. Where do ants live? We all know that ants live on the trees as well as under the earth, right? A-N-T, ant. They're small insects, right? We all have seen ants. Now wasp, W-A-S-P, wasp. This is also like a bee. This is also like a bee, but it is bigger than bee, okay? Now, next is grasshopper. 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 We all have seen a grasshopper, right? When we are little, we go and we like to catch the grasshopper, right? And we like to play with it. So that is it. I hope you all have seen it. Now mosquito, M-O-S-Q-U-I-T-O, mosquito. What a mosquito. I'm sure you all know this. I'm very sure, right? Because when we sleep and when it comes making the doo sound and it comes and sting us, we get irritated, right? And we get, when we feel like itching and all, right? So this is an insect, this is a mosquito, okay? This is also an insect. Now ladybug. L-A-D-Y, lady, B-U-G, bug, ladybug. They're very pretty, right? They have a spotted back and different with different colors, right? So that is ladybug. That is also an insect. Now a dragonfly. D-R-A-G-O-N-F-L-Y, dragonfly. Now this dragonfly, especially in the we see dragonflies fly especially near the pond area, right, where there are waters. They like to fly around, and they have a small thin long body, but their wings are very long and thin, right? We all have seen dragonfly. This is it. This is a picture of dragonfly. Now next is caterpillar. C-A-T-E-R-P-I-L-L-A-R, caterpillar. Now what are caterpillars? These are worms. These are like worms. They are insects, but they grow, right? It is very scary to look at caterpillars, right? When you touch a caterpillar, you may get allergic and all, right? But caterpillar, when it goes inside the cocoon, to sleep, they come out with a beautiful color, right? They become a butterfly. So that is it, okay? Now next, the last is butterfly. B-U-T-T-E-R-F-L-Y, butterfly. Okay, this is butterfly. So these are the names of insects. I hope you all can find many more other than this. These are just some few insects that I have mentioned, okay? Now, we'll go to the next, that is, what do you see at night? At night, even though it is dark, we can see, right? We can see something, right? Because our vision is still there. We can see that it is dark. It is black, full black, but we can also see the stars and the moon, right? When we look up in the sky, we see the stars as well as the moon, right? We also see the streets lighted up. In the street, when you go for a walk, you see the street lights all lighted up beautifully, right? So we also see that at night. We see the doors are closed already. People are getting ready to sleep. They close their doors, right? When we get ready to sleep, we close our doors, right? Now the shops are also closed at night because everyone will be sleeping. There will be no one to go and buy, right? So the shops are also closed already. So these are some of the few things that we see at night, that we come across at night. So students, can you mention more things that you see at night? Can you find out more examples like this that you come across at night, that you hear at night, or that you see at night? This will be a homework for you, okay, students? Now, in this poem, there are also rhyming words. So, we will try to find out those rhyming words, okay? Firstly, what are rhyming words? Words that sound similar, but they may or may not have the same meaning. That means words that while speaking, while pronouncing, they sound similar. We can hear that they are almost the same, but their meanings may be different. So that is called a rhyming word. So in this poem, what are the rhyming words? The rhyming words are right, night, wall, call, fall, all. Here, in the first one, right and night. See, they have the almost similar ending, right? Without this R, we can all see IGHT, right? And when I cover this N, it also ends with IGHT, right? So, they are pronounced as right, night. The ending, it sounds similar, right? Can you listen once more? The ending of right and night. Right, night. They have similar ending, right? That means the right rhymes with the night. And the night also rhymes with the right. That means they have similar sound. Next, the wall, call, fall, all. The all ends with A-double-L, right? See? If I cover this W, it is A-double-L. If I cover C, it is A-double-L. If I cover F, it is A-double-L. See? All. They all have a similar ending, right? Wall, call, fall, all. They have same ending. When we hear, when we listen, the ending sounds similar, right? That is called the rhyming words, okay? Rhyming words, they may or may not have the same meaning. In this case, they all have different meaning. Right is different with night. Wall is different with call. Fall is different with all. They all have different meaning, okay? So, I want you to all go through the poems and find out more rhyming words. There are lots, and you can take the help of your teachers or your parents or your elder siblings and find out more rhyming words, okay? Now, students, we have come to the end of this topic, this chapter. Let's go a quick revision. What have you learned today? What have you learned today, students, after reading this poem? We have learned the sound you hear at night, right? You have learned what kind of sounds you hear at night, what are the things that you see at night. You hear all the, you have learned all those, right? So that is it, the first one. And the next is the rhyming words. We have learned what the rhyming words are, right? I've told you the definition of a rhyming word. That rhyming word, they are a word that sounds similar, but they may or may not have different meaning, the same meaning, right? Those are rhyming words. Now, we have also learned new words, right? We have also learned some new words, new meanings in this poem, right? Now we have also learned some names of insects, right? We have also learned different kinds of insects names like mosquito, beetle, caterpillar, butterfly, and all, right? So that is all about today's topic. And I hope you all have understood something from this chapter. And if you have any doubt, you can always ask your parents or your teachers in your school, okay? So that is the end of today's class, and we will meet in the next class.